Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ironclad Insights. I'm Eric, and I'm here with my co-hosts Ryan and Robert. We're here to talk about Adepticon and how it went for us.
Whee!
Um, so I was fortunate enough to be able to drive up a little bit earlier compared to most. I was able to go up Tuesday night up to Milwaukee, and if folks out there that don't know, Milwaukee is where Robert's local game stores are and Travis and Thomas's. So I visited them and wanted to get it just a practice game in there the day before Adepticon and that. So I get there, then I am chatting with Travis, Robert, and Thomas, and one of their other locals, Zach. And then in through the door comes some of the SFG crew. It's Rich, Jamie, also Tyson Ka, Tyson K. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and one of the War Gamer journalists, Tim. So I was fortunate enough to get a game in against Jamie. We played a Lilith versus Kishtar matchup there, and that game was back and forth for a little bit. I just so vividly remember I pop Kishtar feet and I roll a science importance 3 to miss an incarnate knight to get a ricochet off. And I was aiming, so it was anything but. And I'm just like, and Jamie sees it and he's just like, that happens. I'm like, I know. But funny story, the next turn, by the way, Rich also played Zach at a table next to us, and their game wrapped up a little bit quicker. So he came over to watch our game. And of course, as soon as Rich comes over and it's my turn, like my second turn, in like with the engagement and that, I'm starting to roll hot. I'm starting to roll hard, like just 2d6, average is 7. That turn for me, it was all 9s, just hitting some deaths dealers, 9 damage, 9 some excavator thunderbolt shots, 9 just cranking damage and just annihilating everything that's getting hit and attacked. And as I'm rolling these and I see Jamie's face, I'm like, I'm sorry, Jamie. I'm sorry, Jamie. He's like, it's all right. Watch it. Like, it won't have, like, you're going to do it again. I proceed to do it again. But then I got a little bit greedy. I left Kishtar in a very peculiar spot. He was able to get a Lilith Spray, Eklis, Nisak, and the one last shade into Kishtar. Literally came down to his last shot to kill Kishtar that game. And Jamie took the game on assassination there. It was a very enjoyable game. I definitely enjoyed playing against Jamie.
Sounds like fun.
Yep. Robert, got any things to say about that Tuesday night, or?
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see everybody there. Good to talk to them. They did this last year as well. They came out to our store. I hope they do it again next year. It's just a great time seeing them and talking to them. Outside of the pressure of the con, so you can actually have a genuine conversation with them. And they're really cool guys.
Yeah.
I was not informed or invited to this get together, so I just stayed home and
Yes, you were.
We literally talked about it. Literally.
I had a work event that I could not miss to actually go up to that. So, all right, we at that point, what did you guys do Wednesday? Because I was still not up there.
Well, I was technically up here, but that's because I live here. So
That's fair.
So Wednesday for me was just getting checked in at the hotel with my wife, and then this was her first Adepticon ever, so I kind of walked the whole con hall because even though it's Wednesday, the con hall is open. Just the vendor hall was all closed off. Just you couldn't enter the vendor hall on that day. So I'm walking around, showing her around, and I then walked into where the War Machine area is, which was shared with the AMG's Star Wars and MCP, and we were in the back. But I loved our new area this year. So I'm walking around. I'm bringing Crystal, my wife, with me, and we walk over to the War Machine area. Jamie's just there waiting for more stuff to be offloaded and stuff like that. I introduced my wife to a lot of people at this con, and she still has whiplash because I introduced her to probably like 50 people, and she's like, "Who's that again?" Anywho, it was nice just to show that area around, and it was just nice to see how much bigger of an area we have. Wednesday for me was just me just kind of scouting out everything and just seeing how everything was.
On Wednesday after work, I went and picked Mark Ewok up from the airport, who I'm sure most of you guys know, or if you don't, he is a large, bearded, burly, sexy individual that drinks too much maple whiskey. Brought him back to the house. He got introduced with my wonderful little puppers, and we went to bed and got ready to get up and go to the con the next morning.
All right, I think that takes us into Thursday, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert starts us off on the Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday was first day of events. There was a regular steamroller going on there. I didn't participate in that. I instead played along with Thomas in the two-player, the two-headed giant event, and that was really fun. We played Baron over Rotmore, trying to find a degenerate combo with both their feats and so on. We had a good time. We went 2-2, but we had a blast, and we're looking forward to next year.
Very nice. Me and Ryan also played in the 2v2. We did the Agathon and Butcher pairing for Butcher Sea Raiders pairing for the 2v2, and that was a lot of fun. We got to bully a lot of people.
We did indeed get to bully a lot of people, and the highlight of that was leaving Andy Bev's Ragemonger on legitimately one box, which is heart-wrenching.
Yep.
We did have to call it short, unfortunately, because Eric was looking to play in the narrative event, and I had a WTC team dinner, so we had to call it after 3 rounds and let the event continue on without us.
Yep. I missed the narrative start time because I misread the start time, so I did not, in fact, get to play in the narrative, but that's okay.
I'm sorry, Eric. That sucks.
It's all right. I'll get it next year.
Our hotel arrangements were weird this year. Eric and I usually room together, but he had his wife with him this year. So I had determined that I was going to drive back every night. Well, unfortunately, with the team dinner going the way that it did, and my teammates deciding that we were going to walk about a mile to the restaurant in sleet, freezing rain, I was not super thrilled about the walk. The food was very good and the company was better. But I decided that I was going to get in the truck and head home, and looked at the clock and realized that it was 11 o'clock or so, and was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to go home. So I called Thomas and asked if I could sleep on his couch, and he politely acknowledged and said yes. Anything
What a
else?
great guy.
Yeah, what a nice guy.
I only had to drive like 20 minutes back to my house, so.
And you can burn in hell, you son of a bitch.
I just got to walk across the street to my hotel.
Going into Wednesday, got up and headed over,
Friday.
Or Friday,
Friday.
sorry, Wednesday. Jesus Christ, Ryan. Dates
Yep.
are hard, okay? Words are hard. Going into Friday, into the team event. I know that Eric and myself had done a bunch of practice. I know Rob and Thomas and Travis had been practicing together as well. Well, Travis a little less because he was judging the event as he does. He is now the Lucant Image Judge Father.
Yes.
Robert, Thomas, Eric, and Mark were all on the same team with each other. Unfortunately, I had to step out because I was playing with my WTC team. And you guys ended up doing very, very well. Do you want to start it off, Rob, with your first round?
Yeah, first round we played against I think the Malorticians.
Yes.
It was good. I believe we went 3-2. I'm trying to look up the event right now.
We 5-0'd.
5-0'd?
We
Okay.
Yeah, we 5-0'd.
Well, that's better than I thought.
Yes.
Any notable things from your game personally, Rob?
I played into Shadow Tongue, and I was playing Storm Legion for this event, playing a Kane Huxley pair, and I dropped Huxley into it, and it's kind of just miserable if they aren't playing Fire Quill specifically for them,
Yep.
because their models can die to Electro Leaps. They can't and Huxley has full throttle, so like Thorgophy doesn't really help. I have shooting, but it's not like the core part of my list, so it was really just a bad matchup for him. I won on scenario 12-2. Killing 82 army points, so
well done.
that run was good for me.
Eric, what'd you get up to?
So I played against a gentleman named Brian. Brian is newer back to War Machine, and he dropped his Bear Nova into my butcher list. With being a newer player, he didn't ask threat ranges, and this being a competitive event, I just couldn't just not tell him all my cards. So I told him some of my stuff, but he left a nice little like line of Metavista, Razor, and a Bison, all like base right next to each other, all within regular charge range of a red-lined Azrak. So what do? I go ahead, I pop Butcher Feet, give Azrak Weapon Master, put Hand Destruction on Razor, and I charge Azrak in. Over the course of Azrak charging in and a couple charges from Assault Reavers into the Bison, I killed Razor and Medbeast off of just regular Azrak activation. Azrak tags the Bison for fire. On his turn, fire doesn't go out. I did the 1 point damage to kill the Bison during his maintenance phase. So Azrak ended up killing like 40 plus points of miles in one activation. And I'm like, the dream. So with that being said, that game just went down to scenario just because Brian couldn't really claw back after that. I ended up winning 15-8.
Yep. My team got paired into Discongeniality, which is Nate and some of the Texas guys. And I ended up getting paired into Miss Trish, who is a wonderful Chimera player. She dropped Shyrus double trike into me, which was awkward to say the least. We put ourselves in a situation where we both needed to score, and to do so, there was a building right in the middle of the table with the with 250s on wolves. And she feeded with Shyrus and said that you can trample to my trike, but I don't think you can kill it with just bot attacks from my guardian. That proved to be false. The game ended 15-11, and I don't think I could have asked for a nicer opponent. I did end up getting to play her later in the IGQ as well, and again, it was just a very polite, very nice game. Couldn't ask for a better opponent. How did your round 2 get going, Eric? Who'd you guys play?
We played against it, and this is going to be a very long team name. I visited the Death Valley gift shop, and all I got were these lousy teammates. So this is Justin Dew's team with some of his WTC teammates. Not all of them, because not all of them made it to the con.
I think it was 4 of them, right? It was just
Justin Dew, Danny McGeehan, Sam Brown.
So Derek was missing.
Alex Cosma and
Ike. Senstrom was missing. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I thought there was 2. Okay, only one was missing. All right. So now we're playing into the WTC teams for the US. So yay us. Mm-hmm. So I'll start this one off. So in the pairing process, our big boogeyman for this team was Cosma. None of our team wanted to play against Cosma. And I'm just talking to everyone. I'm like, so if I take this, if I get hit by this, like, we have a better chance of taking the round, yes? They all nod yes. So I threw myself in front of that bus. So me and Cosma got to the table, started to do our pairings, and it was interesting because I think Cosma was thinking I was going to drop Kishtar, and I was thinking he was going to drop Firequill. The only thing with that is I don't think with Kishtar, with his Bugatti bomb list, that if I lost that list chicken, that I had enough firepower to kill that Arm 22 or Arm 24 Abyssal King. So the pairing ended up, or the match ended up being Bugatti bomb into Butcher. And I had to apply scenario pressure early because I had to go second. He went first. And this was a big game of rocket tag. Because Bugatti Bomb's feat, +2 speed and ghostly or incorporeal for his army is very scary. And I had to do something to kind of like blunt the alpha that he would get into me. So I went ahead and I feeded early with Butcher because there was a Homicidal Maniac play with Aztec that I saw that I can get onto as Abyssal King and maybe knock out something important and then have it under Butcher feet to where he couldn't heal it. And then I clear off the flag. Oh, and also too, this round was high stakes. So I cleared off his scenario objective with some Assault Reavers in that. Come to Alex's turn, I did not measure out correctly the 12 inches for Butcher, so I did not apply my feet to the Abyssal King. And I mispositioned one of my shield guards behind Butcher to where I couldn't shield guard the drag off of Frogger that I knew was coming in. So Butcher died hard that following turn. And then so I died, ended up being Cosmo with the assassination victory. And then after the game, me and him talked a little bit about it, and me and him both agreed I should have played a slightly more passive game that, or slightly more passive that turn instead of committing Azrak to that play. So, Robert, how did your game versus Sam go in that round?
Yeah, so I played a Signar matchup into Gravediggers, so Storm Legion and Gravediggers. I dropped Kane, he dropped Sin. His pairing was Sin and Jake's. And I felt that Kane was going to be able to handle the Sin list better than Huxley was, even though Huxley would probably be better into Jake's. So I picked Kane. I played pretty passive the whole game. I didn't kill a ton of models. I did the work I needed to. I forced him off of one of his objectives to be able to score that, and made it so he couldn't actually get to any of mine. The 50 was contested for. Well, the 50 was not scored by him ever. I scored it one turn because I was able to clear it with Big Pig, and I only ended up killing 18 points of his army. He was playing a double field gun list, which was a little concerning for me because I wasn't sure what he was going to be able to hit with the blast damage. And as Storm Legion doesn't have Boom Howler, I can't give Kane Blast, so that was a little concerning for me, or Blast Res. But I killed just enough to go up on scenario, I believe 4-0 turn 1. And then he wasn't able to come back and even score anything after that. He was able to clear the middle 50, but wasn't able to score it. And I won the game 7-0. So yeah, that went pretty good. Overall, our team won that round 3-2. This one is actually 3-2.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, we had a good second round. Starting the event off 2-0.
Very well done.
How did your round 2 go, Ryan?
So going into this round, we had an interesting pairing process. The team we were playing was the Georgetown Grunts, and they were playing a Dragon's Host list, a Umbri, Grindbloods, Necrofactorum, and Storm Legion. And it created some weird pairings for us, and it came down to the end of like who gets the Infernals player, and they decided to give me the Storm Legion player, and told me after the round was over that I was their grenade, effectively, however you want to put it. That I was the hard matchup for them. So they stuck the sacrifice, if that's how you want to put it. So they stuck their newest player, returning player Nate, who again just another wonderful human being. But when your opponent walks up to you as an Infernals player, and the first thing they say when they shake your hand is, "Yeah, I've never played against Infernals before." I don't want to be mean to Nate, but there isn't a lot to say about the game. It's already what I would consider like an 80 to 85% win rate matchup. And then playing against a person that's never played Infernals. I think Nate played a really solid game. But you're just fighting uphill when you have to continuously read rules. This game, again, just like the first round, came down to it was a decently long game. Nate did make me pretty much table him, and again, just played very well, considering he didn't know what most of my models did. But the team was 2-2 going into this, just like in the first round, because my game went long, and I was the deciding match again, and luckily I was good enough and I pulled through. Ended up being 20-9, and we won that round 3-2.
Very nice.
Nice.
So far, both their teams are 2-0 at this point, moving into round 3.
Yep.
All right. So round 3, my and Roberts and Thomas's team got paired into, you guess it, WTC US Team 2 with Rick Coe, the Buffalo guys, and a random Akers. Oh, and Zach,
a random Akers. Akers is on team 2, sir. Jesus.
I know. But the rest of them are all Buffalo, though. He's the only one that's not from Buffalo.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Zach's
so
not.
the
But
team actually includes Travis, but Travis was
Yes.
going to play in the event for a little while, but unfortunately, because he was running the event, it became unable to. So Zach Watson, one of my locals, he stepped in and he was playing Kador in that event for for USA Team 2.
Yep.
Yep.
So-
So, Robert, go ahead and let's talk about your game first here.
Yeah, so I played into Rick Coe, who was playing Soldiers of Fortune. He dropped Damiano, and I dropped Huxley. I specifically wanted this matchup because I knew how to play into Damiano. Because all of those, there's a lot of a lot of throwing that can happen with Damiano. And because Damiano has Deadeye, and mules have crit devastation. So you can Deadeye and boost, and there's something like a 70% chance to crit or higher. And so I was playing around that all game. He had two of them. I just kept trying to do what I could to score on my left side. On my turn, I knew it was going to get thrown off on his turn, but I was doing what I could. And on the right side, there was a forest and an obstruction, so I was never able to get to his flag. This is trench warfare. I was never able to get to his flag. It was too far away. He had a unit of cav over there. I just wasn't able to deal with it. But it came down to the point where he feeded, and he charged a couple models in. He killed one of my heavies. He tried to kill another heavy and just failed miserably. He missed like 3 of his 4 attacks. And so he's sitting. He was contesting with both of them, and their arm like 21 to 23, something like that, under Damiano feet. So they're high arm. They're going to be hard to remove. I get lucky. Some of sailors do a ton of work into the one on my left flank. And a Borealis comes in and finishes it off with its first initial attack.
Very nice.
And so I'm just like, oh, this Borealis has 3 focus remaining. Okay. I take a shot at like a mule or something. It does some damage, but it doesn't really hurt it. And then on the other side, I had a Zephyr over there. Zephyr with Storm Rager smacked. I think it was not a Nomad. It was a Toro on that side. And so he smacked the Toro, did more than 0 damage. So I was very happy because it was a walk and smack. It wasn't even a charge. So I was really happy with that. I send 1 striker in with a charge. I do about 2/3 of its health because it had taken some chip shots before this as well, so it wasn't like it was starting at full. But I got it down to like a third, and then my second striker on that side comes in, finishes it off. I'm scoring a bunch of points then, and he's not able to get back to contest enough and score enough on his turn after that because he just lost so many resources at that point that I won on scenario 12 to 9.
Well done.
Nice. I got to play against Mike Garbarini. He just switched over to Gravediggers because I think their team was looking for a Gravediggers player. And so he was playing the pairing of Kane Hasker and me looking at Trench Warfare and a bunch of Hunterhead Tyrants. So I'm like, I wonder who I'm going to drop. So I dropped Kishtar. So the matchup ended up being Kane versus Kishtar. I won the roll off. I picked my side explicitly because there was a bunker closer to my side that we were just playing as obstruction. That'd be good for line of sight blocking for Kishtar. There's a piece of rubble right there just outside my deployment zone. Very good for Kishtar still. And he just has a wide open field in his side. So I should be able to just pick off his stuff all day, right? So he goes first, moves up, positions, everything, does the whole Kane is going to be def 22 against ranged and magic. Good luck. Plus cover. So 26 then? I don't know. Something high and ridiculous to where I don't even fathom to try to assassinate him at all. Then the following turn happens. My turn 1, I disposition, get everything ready to go. Have my 2 tyrants with the Shredder Quad Bolter on both flanks, kind of like middle, and then I had my 1 Belcher Tyrant Quad Bolter on the far right flank because that was my 50 mil objective. So AoE damage against the stuff is always nice. So his turn 2, he runs Kane into a nice little corner crevice of the bunker to where he basically gets cover until I basically get past him and does all of his buffs. And now to kind of visualize this better for the audience, if you're looking from your table edge and where that particular corner of that bunker is, it's only about 18 inches. So he was on my side of the field at this point, and he's camping, I think, about like 3 focus or 4 focus, and he positions everything else, contests stuff, and then he clocks it over to me. And I'm just pondering, okay, he's def a billion. I only have 1 AoE shot. Oh, wait, he's blast resistant because force barrier. Huh. It's a trap. Ignore it. Go after everything else. And then I just swarm Kane with a bunch of assault reavers, just like all around him with 2-inch reach, just to engage him, so he couldn't get out and do any funny stuff. Wait until his fouling turn, and I learned something very crucial. Anywho, so that turn I ended up killing a couple more of his solos. I put a couple shots into Big Pig, and I just do a little bit of attrition damage, not a ton to write home about, but I have Kane surrounded with a bunch of Assault Reavers under Kishtar feet, so I have the wombo combo of POW 15 Assault Reavers with Signs of Importance on his turn with last word. So I'll talk it over to Mike. Mike says, okay, now I'm going to tell you why your plan doesn't work. And he explains Kane feat with the 1-inch after he kills or destroys something. It's a 1-inch damage roll to, or 1 inch from the model that you killed. Within 1 inch, everyone suffers a POW 10 magic damage roll. It's not considered an enemy attack, so last word doesn't trigger there. So my plan goes up a lot in smoke because almost like a whole unit of Reavers gets taken out by this, and I just like start staring at it. I'm like, should have read that better. Anywho, though, Kane spent most of his time dealing with Assault Reavers, and he picks up my 1 Belcher Tyrant that turn, and scoring, it's back and forth scoring. That's pretty much all tied up. The thing is, though, because Mike is still new to Gravedigger's Kane, he's starting to chew up a lot of his time with this. So after he does that, both feats are now exhausted. Kane is back towards his 40 mil objective after everything was said and done. I come back to my turn 3, and I end up just committing to killing Big Pig, killing the stuff that he had contesting on to my objective. He parked a unit of Rangers with a med crate right there. I'm like, that med crate counts as a MAL, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. I'm going to ricochet into it and kill it. And then I go ahead and pop Hell Hunter and to get something else in range of Big Pig to kill it. One of my other Tyrants. So I ended up doing that. So I ended up scoring my 50, my 40, contesting his 50, and he can score his own 40. So then I have Kishtar in like my rebel on my side of the board with Surefoot Honor with camping, I think 3. And I look at the clock, and Mike only has about 5 minutes left. I'm like, okay, my win conditions now to pressure him on clock and on scenario. And I was up on scenario at this point because he couldn't score that 50 yet on his own 50. So clock it over to Mike. Mike tries to engineer the assassination. Nothing happens with the assassination run. He couldn't get there. Time expires, or sorry, he ended up passing it back over to me before he clocked. So then it just ended up being a scenario win for me. So I think I was the last game that round, Robert, or who else was it? Was it Thomas?
I think
Or was
Thomas
it me?
last game.
It was Thomas. Thomas was the decider. Okay. So we end up taking that round 3-2. So we're feeling pretty good. We're 3-0 for the team event so far. Ryan, how did your round 3 go?
My round 3 was interesting. We got paired into Chris Gunther and the Bevs, which is really weird because Chris Gunther and the Bevs are on my team. But that's how it works sometimes. No, we got paired into USA Team 1, and they are very good. Andy and Chris are doing our pairings, and they felt we got very aggressive, good pairings, and I would tend to agree with them. I got put into JVM, who is debatably the best Chimera player in the game. We got put onto a really good table, or that I thought. I was very comfortable into the matchup. I have not played Lilith a bunch, but I don't mind it at all. She doesn't interact super well with Agathon. The first turn, Jake went, I'm sorry, on turn 2, we just did some positioning on turn 1. On turn 2, Jake went for a walk forward and repo shoot my Colossal to try to get the crit stagger. He did. I shield guarded it that time, and then ate some other shots. The next turn, I had gone up a little bit on scoring at the end of 2. Jake positioned to go further up on scoring on his turn to make it, I think he was up 3. And it was up 4. I'm sorry, it was 7-3. And I decided that I needed to commit for this. And he, so I did. But he went for the crit stagger the next turn. Again on the Colossal, and landed it this time. I have no shield guard left to shield guard it. I misinterpreted a rule. He ran the Wyvern forward to score aggressively on the 50 on my left. My Colossal could technically have charged him and then bought the charge attack. I did not know this at the time, so I realized that I could not walk to get to him. So I just decided to walk it up and contest the objective and just be in the way. And put myself in a position where the game was going to go 7-5. All I had to do was kill a Hydrix with a Desolator with 2 rerolls on it. I charged, used the spray first to try to get the armor debuff. I rolled the hard 9 to get the debuff on it, got the -2 armor, and even did a couple damage on him. Then proceeded to do my charge attack, needing I think it's 6s to hit. Missed the first 6, missed the second 6, re-roll the charge, missed. My second attack, missed. Reroll it, missed. Okay, I guess I'll do the spray before I have to buy attacks. Missed the second spray. Buy an attack, missed the attack. Buy an attack, missed the attack. Buy an attack, missed the attack.
Oh, brother.
So at that point, I had no models left to clear that point off. No other way to score a point. And reached my hand out to Jake and said, "Hey, brother, well played from you." We paused the clock to calculate before we could even do scoring. Jake looked me dead in the face and said, "Did you not know that you could charge while you're staggered?" And I went, "No, I didn't know that you could charge while staggered. That's something I could do." And he said, "Yeah, you easily could have killed my Wyvern." And I was like, "Well, the more you know." This is the first game all day that I had that went a reasonably short amount of time. So I got to go around and watch some of the tables. I got to watch a little bit of Andy playing Brandon. They had a really, really good game, and Andy edged Brandon out in that one. I got to watch some of Erica and Brad Park play in a decently tight game that Brad kind of ran away with at the end. But unfortunately for us, the Team 1 guys took us out. Andy was our only win. We got 4-1'd.
So you're saying Chris Gunther and the Bevs beat Chris Gunther and the Bevs?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So weird how that works.
Going into that next round, there's a little bit of the chip on the shoulder, if you will, of like, we just lost, and we didn't lose great, right? Going down 4-1 to that team. If we lost 3-2, it would have felt better. I was very upset with myself for not understanding the rule of stagger being able to charge, although that's a relatively niche thing. Also frustrated with dice in that situation, right? And before anybody says it in the comments, because I know it's coming because it came after the game, the answer is yes, I absolutely could have boosted the charge attack and things. But I figured with rerolls needing 6s that there was going to be no need to boost in that situation. And once we got past the charge and the main attacks, it was beyond the point of frustration, and I just moved on with my life. Anyway, going into round 4, we're now X-1. We got paired into the team Phil died of dysentery on the Oregon Trail, which is a joke harking back to the fact that a bunch of people were playing Oregon Trail together in the Discord. This team was Phil M. And Chris Glowicki. Who else? Dr. Spiders, Austin from Buffalo, and Schwenke. We did, again, aggressive pairing. I liked the pairing process that we had set up into this game. I felt very comfortable into the theory crafting of playing into Chris Glowicki, and then just proceeded to absolutely flub the game and get completely outplayed by Chris. I have no excuse for what happened. I allowed him to bully my Colossal with Invictus because I did did not do the math correctly, and Invictus does not kill my Colossal in any way, shape, or form without a lot of help. So just got bullied backwards onto Scenario and allowed him to walk away with that game. Luckily, my team carried me through that round, and we ended up 4-1-ing, and I was the only loss. How did your guys' round go, Rob?
So it was interesting. We played against the team that you guys played against the previous round.
Well, you were the final table,
eh,
effectively.
Yeah. We did not do so hot. I believe we did the exact same as you did. Uh, we got 4-1. But I got paired into Cody. He dropped Morozov. I dropped Huxley because I don't really have a ton of experience with the Kane into Morozov matchup. And I have a lot more experience with Huxley, so I felt that was the right choice for me as a player at the time. The game was, we were both like scoring our own objectives for a while, and eventually he decided he was going to have to commit to the middle of the table. He put all of his remaining liegemen there, and was just like, yeah, you have to kill these guys to be able to score anything, and good luck. And so it took 4 of my heavies, and I sent them in. They did work. They cleared out all the liegemen, cleared out a couple of his like 2 or 3 of his Earth signs, I believe. And they were all on the middle 50s. I was scoring mine. I was scoring my own 40s, and then I was contesting his 40s. So I went up on scenario 12-6 at the end of my turn. And basically what had to happen was he had to clear all 4 heavies with 2 primevals. And on average dice, he doesn't. And his dice were not close to average. So they all died, and I think his primeval had like an attack or 2 to spare.
Oh God.
Yeah. So that went well for me. If his dice had been a little weaker, if like one of the front 2 heavies had lived past that first primeval, it would have made it so he couldn't physically have killed me off of the 50s, and then I went on scenario because he came back to I believe exactly 2 points underneath where I went to at that point. By doing that, because if I'm even just contesting one of those 50s in the middle, I win at the end of his turn. But his dice were good enough. I still had an out. It was an assassination run that needed basically only 6s on my dice to happen, and that did not happen. So I ended my turn, and he won on scenario. He killed 81 points of my army, and I only killed 40 of his because I couldn't ever interact with the primevals. They were both alive. His feral was alive. It was rough. I felt good on the scenario until he wiped out all of my heavies.
It's unfortunate.
So, yep. But he won 17-13 on scenario.
Eric?
So I got to play against one of my longtime buddies, Brandon Owens. It was a Kane Kishar matchup. Fault line. Fault lines was the scenario. So very live scenario here. I lost. I'm trying to remember if I lost the role. I think I did lose the role, and he chose first. So I had to play slightly more passive. But on my. Sorry, no, I won first, I believe, that game, because he gave me a weird angle on one of the rowdies off of a fire group shredder shot off a tyrant. I'm like, oh, I can just pick up a rowdy for free with the attack. Don't hit at all. And then on Brandon's turn, Brandon then showed me the ridiculousness of what a 3-point solo heavy machine gun crew can do. Now, add 3 more and you go to full FA on machine gun crews. So Brandon walks up and like he starts practicing out all his machine gun crews with the ammo crate, and he rolls almost max shots on almost every one that goes into this tyrant. Yeah, POW 16s dice off 3 to 4 shots per one that went into it. I think he had to use the third one to like do the last several boxes. But yeah, 9 points worth of miles just destroyed my 17-point tyrant. And I'm just staring at this and like, I did not expect that, nor did I see that coming. And now I'm in dire straits because I'm down 17 points and he literally lost nothing yet. And I'm just scrambling at this point. And it's been a while since I've gotten to that point where I'm scrambling in a game. So I tried to jam him with assault reavers, running them up to clog his side 40s. On the left side, my close 40s, he had the Black 13. The Dyers come up and they annihilate the barrages I had over there. And I didn't really have anything else I can commit over there without losing like the center as much. So on the bottom of two, or sorry, on the no, I went second in this game. On the bottom of two, I scored 4-0, and then Brandon just came in, just basically wiped out almost all my stuff the following turn with cane feet. And yeah, so he just started to ramp up the scoring. He ended up scoring 9 control points to my 0 that following turn. And I lost almost all my tyrants at this point, plus my jackal. And yeah, that game ended very bad for me, and I ended up losing 11-4. And he killed 85 points of my army. I only killed 12 points of his army. Guess what? Those 12 points all were.
Machine gun crews?
Yes, I killed every single one of them. It was
Spite,
vendetta.
I assume. Yeah.
Yes, it was a vendetta at this point. So I ended up losing that game.
You guys ended up dropping the round. At the end of the event, Chris Gunther and the Bevs, which is America Team 1, so we're not being confusing, took the event. They went 4-0 and did very well for themselves. My team, Sequoia Paddlefish, or just Sequoia for our team name, took second. And then Nate and the Texas guys took third, edging out Eric's team by the literal third freaking tiebreaker, which is something crazy. They went through they tied strengths of schedule. They tied individual performance at 12 and 8, and then had to go to VPs for the team to determine who got third, which is something that I don't think I've ever seen in a team event before.
To be fair, our strength of schedule could have been much higher.
Mm-hmm.
We needed some of our early round teams we played against to squeak out some stuff, and they did not. We needed a little bit of help from our previous opponents, and we did not receive it. So
Yep.
we just missed the podium. But I'm
Yeah.
very happy with how the team performed, though. We're gonna try to run it back next year.
Yeah. That it was a good day. It was a long day, but it was a good day. I did want to speak on the tables very quickly before we go into the next one. I don't know about you guys, but it felt there was a limited amount of terrain on most of these tables. Like 8 to 11 pieces was what I was seeing most of the time. The pieces did tend to be bigger, and there was just I don't want to say an overabundance. That's not the right word. There was an abundance of forests on these tables. I made the joke very early that if anyone had been playing Resnikova in this tournament, they would have been really, really, really happy. The other thing I wanted to look at real quick was the breakdown for this team event. This is one of the very few big team events that we get to do. So it's always interesting to see the amount of people playing certain factions. Just running through it real quick. Umbri had 10, Brines had 10, Dusk had 9, Chimera had 9, Storm Legion 9, Gravediggers 6, Kador 6, or Winter Core I should say 6, Orgoth 5, Dark Ops 4, Infernals 4, Necro 3, and then we start getting into the 2 and the 1s. Crucible Guard 2, there was 1 Soldiers of Fortune player, 1 Kithguard player, and 1 Dragon's Host player. Any of that stuff stand out to you guys?
The volume of Storm Legion players does stand out to me because they had already been falling off in like how well they've been doing throughout the year. They're missing a lot of the tools they had last year, and it's really hurting them, especially with how much of a gun meta it is right now. But the fact that there were still 9 people playing it there does really shock me.
That's awesome. Eric, anything from you?
I'm just shocked about the number of Orgoth players. Again, 5, only 5.
Yeah, that was actually surprising.
They're in a very good spot, and I'm kind of a little bit shocked by that.
So many goddamn troll players. Every team has a troll player. It's so miserable. All right. So, did you guys do anything else that evening? I know I snuck another game in.
yeah, I just like started to crash. So I went to go get, no, I went back to the hotel room, ordered Mexican food, and for me and my wife, and we just devoured tacos late at night. So that's what we did.
Wonderful.
And that was my night.
Rob, what'd you do?
For me, I went home because the next day was my wife's birthday, and so because of that, obviously I'm gonna spend time with her, and yeah, I did not get to participate in the IGQ at Adepticon this year.
All right. Well, then we'll jump right into it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to share one little fun anecdote about that random guy Akers that Eric brought up. So on this evening, I was asked politely because I had my truck there if I would drive Patty, who some of you guys might know, Patty Giuseppe, back to his hotel. And David Shirley asked if he could jump into it. I said absolutely. Akers saw us walking out and said, "Hey, can you give me a ride too? I'm going to the same place." Sure, let's do it. So we walk out to my truck, we get it, and Akers mentions once we get into the truck, hey, we got to stop at one hotel to grab my stuff from Spinball so we can go to the other hotel. Okay, which hotel is Spinball in? It's a Hilton. I pull it up. There are 5 Hiltons within 1 mile of the convention center. Which one is it, Akers? Oh, it's just down the street. Which street, Akers? That one. Okay, so we go that way. I drive down the street. We pull up to the Hilton. This isn't it. We go to the next one. This isn't it. We go to the third one. This isn't it. All right, Akers, there's only 2 left. Do you want to figure this out and call Dan? He's like, no, it's got to be this one. It's right down here. We go to the next one. It's not it. All right, call Spinball. I'm done with this. Pulled to the side of the road, calls Dan. Dan answers the phone finally and says, yeah, you're looking for a Hampton Inn. My face hit the steering wheel. Patty is dying of laughter in the passenger seat because we've now gone to 4 hotels that were incorrect. I pull it up. There's 2 Hamptons, and I'm like, Dan, which one is it? Please, God, give me the actual address. We go to that one, we get it, and I take him, we drop him off. I go back to Thomas's, I eat, and then we go back to that. But yes, Akers apparently is never allowed to navigate for anyone ever, and I will never trust his directions ever again. All right. So the first thing I'm going to say about the IGQ, I'm going to preface this one, is it was going to be 5 rounds pretty much no matter what. I think there was 2 rounds of pair downs, which means that there's almost always going to be the first power down and lose, and then there was another pair down. I don't know how it worked. But we were almost guaranteed to have 5 rounds for this. It was a huge event, which was really cool. Do you remember the actual number, Eric? I don't.
80. We had 80 in this IGQ.
80 people, man. That's insane.
Biggest one I've ever been to.
Yep, I would say that for no, I would the previous year's War Machine weekends back in like 2014. But it was a really big event. There was a lot of table space and stuff required. There's a lot of bodies moving around, and we had to get started early and get round timers going. Do you want to jump right in, Eric? How'd your first round go?
Yeah, absolutely. Round 1. So again, you think in this big, wide, like spread of players for 80 players, I would play against someone I don't know. So I get paired into Cam Parker. He is a guy from Iowa that I've seen at several IGQs at this point, and at some point in those IGQs, we always play against each other. So round 1, I see this, and Cam sees this too, and he's like, "God damn!" because every time me and Cam have met, Cam has not been able to beat me yet. And Cam's like, God damn, why I've everyone I know here, I had to play against you that I've already played against several times. I'm like, trust me, Cam, like I understand the feeling. So we get into it. Cam is playing the revamped Grimkin now.
Mm-hmm.
So this was very interesting for me. First time I got to play against it with all their new rules and that. So we do the pairing process. Scenario is pressure point. So 4 flags and the 50 in the middle. And the casters were Butcher versus Wanderer. If you guys listen to our episode from Travis's IGQ, we did this before, me and Cam. We did this Wanderer versus Butcher matchup before, but now it's different because of the Grimkin revamp. So I was curious to see how this went. So Cam runs up. He got first. He runs up, parks Wanderer right behind a building, pretty much right next to the 50 mil objective in the middle. So he's basically controlling the middle with Starcrossed always up. He leaves me a blanket of Dreadrots for me to go into after he kills I think one of my assault reaver unit in the middle. So I'm just staring at that with Butcher. I'm like, 10 blood quench tokens does sound pretty nice right now. So I pop feet, I go in. I also am able to get Azrak to charge in onto his aberration as well. Azrak did not end up killing the aberration at all, and I was very sad about that. Dice whiffed hard because star-crossed. So Butcher's like on the 50 in the middle, camping 9 blood quench tokens. He's perfectly safe with a couple stacking a couple focus. Going to the next turn, Cam comes up. He deletes some of my stuff. Then we go into the following turn. I had to get Butcher like out of there because blood quench falls off. So now he's more vulnerable at this point. So I run him back, and I think I put him in a safe spot with a shield guard nearby in that. Cam has 2 very spooky skin and bones in the center of the table now, and I don't have a good way to deal with them until I get Azrak freed up to go back into the middle. And we're just like fighting over the other flags on the left-hand side with a couple of solos of mine and the Execrators just having a slap fight with Dreadrots. That was a lot of fun. So end up going, Cam went for assassination on Butcher that turn. Didn't get it. I ran Butcher away again. He then tries to follow up with Longfellow with Fortune Hunter and Finisher, I believe, and he just rolled terribly. Honestly, with average dice, Butcher should have been dead and Cam should have taken that game. So I ended up taking that game on scenario 13-9. Brian, how'd your round 1 go?
I got paired into a good friend of mine from Buffalo named Phil Meyer. And it was another one of those, like, you expect with 80 people and probably, 60 of the 80 not being WTC-esque players or that level of players. Maybe I'm being too much on it. Maybe it's 30 out of the 80 are. So like there's 50 people that aren't, and Phil is definitely one of those. And getting him in the first round is not a bad thing, right? It's a good way to start the day, but it's also one of those where it might have been easier just to get a quick game and move on. This was not. Phil and I went to decently deep turns, just bouncing back and forth on scenario, and that is exactly the game that Agathon wants to play in this matchup. It was specifically into Chimera playing Nixian. I'm able to whittle down more of his models than he's able to for me. He unfortunately had to spread fairly wide for the scenario for pressure point to be able to do it, and I got some decently aggressive rolls on the exploding terrain. So that I was able to proc mine very quickly and start scoring 2 on my side to him not being able to score 2. And then the literal next turn that I got my first one, pop the middle 50 where my Colossal was sitting that he didn't have a lot of interaction with, and be able to pop it as well. The Nixian matchup's interesting for him killing the Colossal because he really needs the Wyvern to be able to go into it, and we were just playing a dance game with it, where I had models kind of screening my Colossal, not really allowing the Wyvern a place to land, and he committed very well to the outside edges of the board to contest and stay in the game. It ended up really close on army points at 61-54, and then score was 12-8. It just got to the point where Phil could not contest the 2 double scoring objectives, and I pulled ahead in it. What about your round 2, Eric?
So being 1-0, like I'm feeling pretty good. Like going into the round 2, then I see who I get paired up against. I get paired into Acres, one the only other Orgoth players in the whole IGQ. So me and him get to our table. Me and him both look at the table. Both of us just stare at each other, look back at the table. There's only one piece of line of sight blocking terrain on this table, and it was a burning forest in the middle, and not even like a good one to where it's like parallel to like the deployment lines long ways. It was like perpendicular, so it was just like a sliver of a forest to where you really can't hide anything behind it.
Oof.
So me and him proceed to drop Kishtar into each other, the mirror.
Gross.
Yep, and then we get to the roll off, and he won the roll off and chose to go first. So basically, that's already the nails in the coffin there. Gunline gets to go first into a terrain that's not favorable for anything with guns. It really benefits guns with this certain table. So I had to play aggressive. I had to go for early attrition play on one of his tyrants. Did not go. to my favor. Akers punished me for it hard, and just that game ended up just being. I got out attritioned, and he ended up winning on scenario because I just couldn't contest his stuff. He ended up winning that 8-3, and he killed 45 army points of my stuff. I only killed 23 of his.
Damn. I mean, to be fair though, Akers is an incredible player, and he got the advantage of going first. Also, he had Invictus in his list, right, which is a decent tech piece into the mirror match.
It is. I wasn't expecting that tech piece, and me and Akers always have different takes on the army as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious to see what that would look like, and his list came up on top in that. So,
yep,
it is what it is. How did your round 2 go, Ryan?
My round 2, I got to play against a new and up and coming player in Mitch Kaiser from Indiana. He is burning through the rank system and is a very good player. Mitch and I got paired. Mitch played Dusk. I dropped Agathon. You're going to hear that name a lot because it's the only caster I played the entire event, in the entire weekend, pretty much. Mitch decided to drop Helith. I feel like this is a mistake. His Helith list had Magnus and Invictus and the Phantasm, and then some 2 units of archers and some support models. I don't feel like this is enough to play scenario, especially not on wolves at our heels. If Agathon can just remove models off the 40s, like I can take away your scoring opportunities. So on 2, he decided to walk Invictus forward and take a shot. And then to finish off what he had shot, I don't even remember what it was, to be honest with you. But to finish off what he shot, he decided to walk Invictus forward, take the shot, and then Energizer backwards. Leaving him on 0, but in a trench, and made sure that he was outside of 21 inches of all of my current foreboders. Big emphasis on that word. I got to use the new change to the rule. Well, not new, but newish change to the rules. And it's something that I have never done before. And in talking with other Infernals players, I'm not sure that it was correct. But I got to take Magnus and Invictus. I had to run Agathon's Forebodor to clear 1 archer for a line of sight block. Then ran Orin Midwinter's unit. I'm sorry, charged Orin Midwinter's unit forward. Repoed Orin Midwinter into range. Feeded to pick up Orin Midwinter. Put a Forebodor in range of the Magnus in the trench, and then killed him with a feated Agathon. So traded my feat and Orin Midwinter for 20 points of models and one of my summons. It sounds very expensive, and it is, but once that was gone, the entire right side of the table was mine, and there was nothing he could do with it anymore. And it just became removing archers slowly but surely and not allowing his Colossal to get to my Colossal until the final turn, and just went up on scenario 8-4. And ended up winning the game. He kept feeding models to the beast to contest. Eventually, I went up 5 points and said, okay, I'm going to put my Colossal in the middle of the table. If you kill it, you kill it. He did, but he didn't have enough tax to remove the rest of the models. So moving on to round 3. Eric, how'd your round 3 go? You were in the fun bracket now.
Yeah. So I'm in the fun bracket, and then I get paired into Sean Hopkins. Yep. So I move on from one USA WTC player to another USA WTC player. So yay me. So Sean's playing his Dusk. He has a Helith Skyrfell pairing, and I look at it, I'm like, okay, I played this before. So me and him throw down our casters. I play Butcher into his Helith list. The scenario is 2 fronts. So I like that because he has to position his Phantasm in a way to where he has to score his 50, to where if he's scoring his 50, I have Azrak in the right spot to where he only gets a few gunshots on me. I go ahead and I shield guard his debuff guns away from Azrak. Azrak can 1 round of Phantasm easy.
Yep.
So we play this game. My God, this game was a grinder. So me and Sean went down to all 7 rounds. We played all 7 turns.
Yep.
And we were just hemorrhaging points left and right, and scenario points left and right. And me being, again, this is round 3 in the event, so I'm starting to get a little bit mentally fatigued here. And I'm thinking, oh, I went second, so I can edge him out in scoring. No, I did not go second. I went first. And then I realized my fuck up. And I'm like, shit. I had to then run and contest more shit. And it ended up being he had to get Helith over to the other side 40s. to double score them with his one left sharpshooter from like the Ghost of Ios box. Like I forget what that name,
Mage Hunter
that
Sniper Team.
unit's name. Yeah, not the sniper team, the unit,
Mage
the Snapfire unit.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, I don't remember. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. He brought those guys. He only had one left in the unit, and he ended up double scoring his 40s. I ended up double scoring the 50s on the other side, and at the end we do all the scoring in that. He edged me out 22 control points to my 21. We both killed 66 points of each other's armies. And it was funny because the only things left were but our casters. He had his Phantasm left, and the one dude left in the unit. I had Azrak and like one or two solos, and that was it. So we just decimated each other in this game. It was a very fun game, and it's always an enjoyable experience to play against Sean.
Those are Mage Hunter Rangers, by the way.
Mage Hunter Rangers.
Yep.
All right. How'd your round 3 go, Ryan?
My round 3 was really weird. I got to play into Wintercore, which generally for me means I'm like, windmill high-fiving myself into oblivion because I'm super excited because this is a really good matchup for me. Then we get to the table, and I've never seen lists quite like this. I was like 1,000% sure he had a Baranova list with Behemoth, Mastodon, double Shock Trooper Gunners, and then the Hounds and some solos. And his other list was Sakura with the brick, right? All the Mana Wars, a couple heavies, Medvedista, Razor, blah, blah, blah. I was 1,000% sure I was going to get the armor brick to the face, and Agathon just has to methodically, slowly pick this apart and take pieces where I can get them. It's a mechanical game. It's a very difficult game, but it's very fun. Instead, he just fucking puts Baranova down on the table with Behemoth Mastodon. I just looked at Tony quizzically. I'm like, I don't really understand what's happening here, but I guess here we go. And the really confusing part for me was this was two fronts. So you have these two really expensive models that you have to commit to one side of the table or the other. And those are your only scoring models, so one of them has to be on the 50s side. Well, we get into the game. Tony positions very aggressively on turn two. Turn one, we both just kind of run and posture. On turn two, he positions very aggressively to defend scoring and to score himself, and feats with Baranova where I can't make a lot of moves. I sit there for a solid 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm not joking. I made 0 moves, didn't do my essence, nothing. I did nothing at the beginning of my turn. I just started thinking about how I could manufacture something out of this. I quickly realized that the only models on the 50 on his side was his caster, and that I had a Forebodar that could easily run into range to be on that 50 and out of line of sight of his caster. And as you know, Agathon's model or battle group is Sacred Warded, so you can't target them with spells. So she couldn't walk to engage it. She could or melee it. She could not charge it. And there was nothing else over there other than his Mastodon. And I ran my Colossal to just engage his Mastodon and lock it up. I then feeded with Agathon to kill 2 contesting spray dudes. Why can't I think of the name? Shock Trooper Gunners. That is the least valuable feat I've ever gotten in my entire life. I then used Regna to kill the third one after running my caster to score my 50. And running the rest of my models to score one of the 40s and contest his and jam up as much as I could. So that turn, with my feat, I killed 3 models. I killed 3, 2 from one unit, 1 from another of the Shock Trooper Gunners. We go over to Tony's turn. Tony takes an equally long time at the beginning of his turn trying to figure out how he's going to accomplish what he needs to accomplish. He realizes quickly that he doesn't think he's going to be able to clear enough to score enough to come back on the, I believe I went up 3, 4, 5, 5 to 0. He doesn't think that he can come back on enough. So he finds a way that he can walk out unengaging my Colossal with his and get Behemoth shots into my caster, who is only camping 1 on the 50 on my side. Well, I had shadowed and decided that when he moved that I would shadow and just walk my caster away. Because that's a thing that you can do. Which foiled his plan very quickly. Tony spent the rest of his turn trying to clean up some models, and eventually killed 41 points, scored 1. I scored 3 more points to go up 8 to 0. And for the first time with Infernals, I scored 0 army points and won a game. That is
amazing.
That is a new one for me. Agathon killed 0 army points and won a game. All right, so we're going into round 4. Eric, how'd your round 4 go?
All right, so I'm coming off the loss to Sean. So now I lost 2 in a row now in the IGQ. My goal was to be X and 1. Goal not achieved. Now the goal is to end up at least 4-2 now. So I get paired into a gentleman named Josh Bell. Very kind gentleman. First time I get to play against him. He's playing his Shadow Flame Shard. He has a, I believe it was a Lilith Kyrex pairing, and the scenario is payload.
Mhm.
Me thinking I'm gonna get Lilith, I already have Kishtar lined up. He drops Kyrex into me. I was not expecting that. I'm like, all right. So we go into the turn. I won the roll off, so I went first to just take up board space and pressure. I position my Assault Reavers very aggressively up with duck and cover to start pressuring his models. He walks up the trike, his trike, to shoot the lead Assault Reaver. He misses and doesn't kill him on the blast damage roll.
Oof.
And it's a range 10 gun.
Yep.
So I get to go on my turn. I get to do the wombo combo of Kishtar Feet plus curse off the banner for the unit, plus put Sounds of Death on them and charge them into the trike. I got to put all the charges and harpoon shots into the trike.
Mm-hmm.
Again, no way to turn off the excessive healing.
Yep.
After that unit goes in, I leave the trike on 15 boxes. Okay, now here comes a couple tyrants with all the guns to just destroy the rest of the trike now. And I was able to get my Belcher Tyrant a shot onto the Paragon, which had 2 of the shades within the AoE range. So I just boosted blast damage on the 2 shades and killed the 2 shades. So Kishtar is now more safe from the shade assassination.
Good.
And that was top of 2. Bottom of 2, Josh comes back into me, starts jamming me with everything, and he applies a ton of pressure on scenario suddenly. And I just look at the table and like, oh shit. So he does that. The Assault Reavers die. They just die. They evaporate after a couple last words and killing a couple of his death dealers that go into him. I then come back to my turn and I take a couple minutes to figure out what I need to do to stay in the game on scenario. So I then just proceed to start killing everything on the table. So I think at the end of my turn 3, I killed 96 points of his army.
Jesus.
And just score everything. After that, Josh went and killed one of my tyrants that was contesting something, and he scored a point back. But at that point, with him only having 4 points left on the table plus his caster, he just can't get back in that scenario. So I ended up winning that 13-8.
Well played.
Yep. How did your round 4 go, Ryan?
My round 4 was very, very grindy. This entire event, I've been going very close to the clock. I am still learning Infernals. And when I say I'm learning Infernals, I have well over 100 games now, just this year. But it's still just such a order of activations nightmare that it's hard. I got to play. I'm undefeated at this point, going into the 4th round. And as is tradition, there's a couple people that if they're at the event with me, I will indefinitely end up playing them. Eric, the Tyrant Ike Eicherman, is one of these fine gentlemen, and I love Ike, so I did not mind getting this game. But please do remember that I have played every round to time at this point, and it is starting to get later in the afternoon. This is our 4th round, and there's minimum one more no matter what happens. So Ike and I go into this game. It is payload, as Eric said, so it's a relatively slower scenario, probably the slowest scenario. And this is a good thing for Agathon in this matchup. Because I want to get all of my summons out before we really have to do any initiation into the fighting. I don't want to let him press it quickly. Ike did not run a trike in his Kyrax list. He had Scylla and Aklis and a why can't I think of the name? The Vipex. We kind of stared at each other for 3 turns. On bottom of 3, I finally decided staying pretty even on scoring. I finally decided that I was going to go ahead and go for the feat to kill the Vipex to take the Hunter's Mark away and just take one of his scoring pieces away so that he had to move something else to that side of the table to score his 50 for his payload, while still advancing mine up the right side. To this point, it had been, basic skirmishing. I killed a couple of his cav with some spells from my caster and from Regna, and he had run his second unit of cav into my howlers, and my howlers and his cav were literally just sitting slapboxing each other. The rest of the game was just posturing with each other. We started to get into the game a little bit after that turn when I went for this Vipex. Unfortunately, I rolled really, really poor dice to kill the Vipex and left it alive. The averages say I should have killed it very easily, but I unfortunately did not have the rerolls that I needed after negating spells from Mike and having to force rerolls on his models to keep some of mine alive. So I ended up rolling a Signs Importance 5. Signs Importance 4, needing a Signs Importance 5, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Those things happen. So I left it on one box, which is a theme with me, apparently, is leaving models on one box. I hemmed and hawed about how to get this model dead for a solid 5 or 6 minutes, just trying to figure out proxying, seeing if I could get another attack into that model. Unfortunately, I never figured it out and just ended up wasting a decent amount of my clock doing nothing. And when you're going to take a game that goes to turn 7, you can't do that to yourself. So the game started to whittle down more and more and more, and Ike started putting me in more and more precarious situations for clock. We get to the very end of the game. Ike still has like 8 minutes on my clock, or on his clock. I have like 37 seconds, I think is what it was. I made one attack with my Colossal to clear off the 50. Ike on his turn sets up and clears so that the game is tied. He was down 1. The game would be tied at the end of his turn. Then we go to my turn. I have 3 seconds left on my clock, so do not have time to do anything and must just pass, which means that Ike would win the game 15-14. And that's what happened. I took the game down 15-14 on turn 7 because I cannot manage my clock. I was very far ahead on scenario or on attrition, and I was very ahead on positioning. I was very ahead on scenario, but because I could not make attacks for the last 2 turns, basically, I screwed myself. And that's taking nothing away from Ike. Ike played a really masterful game. I think he played it really well. When he realized that I was going to clock, he played it very masterfully to put me in a really bad position where I needed to make attacks to deal with models, and he had time to do so. I did not. So nothing but credit there. I just need to be better with clock management, and I can take those games. How did your 5th round go, Eric? Because I know I was dead at this point. Were you dead?
Well, I was like so dead. So everyone is like just him and hawing about round 5 and gains their tables after the round 5 pairings go up. So I get paired into a gentleman from, I believe he's from New York, Mark G, because I'm just not going to try to pronounce his last name. He's also playing Dusk. He has a Tyrus Health pairing, I believe, and it's the scenario is high stakes. And again, into Dusk, I'd typically drop Butcher because he's immune to spells. I disabled their tough rolls on their Dread Guard, and I have a decent enough threat range on my stuff in the Butcher list. So we drop the casters, he drops health, I drop Butcher. And in this game, I have a force in the middle of the table that actually benefits me because I'm going second. So I'm able to actually hide my stuff behind it. So this game was very passive on both players' parts. Just we presented each other some little puzzles. I did a tricksy little play with one of my arc nodes to arc a eruption at one of his Dreadguard Slayers to AoE pop his Mage Hunter Sniper team with a boosted POW 8 damage roll.
Nice.
I flubbed that damage roll, so he lived.
Oh,
and I was very upset about that because that was his flag terrain that he had him on to make him have to move something else over there. So I ended up killing 2 Dreadguard off of that eruption, which was really, really solid. He then in return took out my arc node on that side, and we play this stalemate game because again, if Phantasm shoots Azrak and Azrak doesn't get any minus speed debuffs, Azrak then gets to go into the Phantasm and kill it. And same vice versa. I can't just park Azrak in the middle of the table, otherwise he just gets shot dead by health plus Phantasm plus his Eidolon. So we're in this precarious position, and I ended up seeing that I started to have a clock advantage over Mark, and we're only going into like turn 3 or 4. I'm like, okay, I need to start presenting him puzzles. So I run the remaining assault reavers I have into his 40 to contest it. I have just my rock carriers like kind of hovering over my flag terrain. So as soon as he commits anything, I can charge him in. And I put my one tyrant with a ground keeper at the 50 in the middle to contest and score it. So now there's the puzzle. Mark pops out of the feet to start trying to kill stuff. He does kill everything there, but now the thing is his clock is dwindling pretty low. And I was able to then capture his flag. The R50 in the middle actually exploded, which was kind of funny. So I was then able to kill his phantasm, scored in the middle objective with Azrak, and then I passed over to Mark. Mark didn't have much time left, so he had to do what he could, and he did what he could. Just there was too much stuff on the points, and he had to do too much dice rolling in order to get there. So I ended up winning that 15-14 on control points, and he killed 54 army points of mine. I only killed 34 of his.
Mm-hmm.
How did your round 5 go, Ryan?
At this point, I was already dead. I had played to round 7 twice and to clock 3 out of my 4 rounds to this point. And I pull up the pairings as Travis announced them, and I see Acre's name in there. And that makes me happy and sad at the same time. It makes me happy because I really wanted to get as many good players as I could. And up to this point, I had 4 WTC players, including Acres. And so I was excited for that because that's what I was looking for, was more playtest reps into good, not playtest, more play reps into good players. But in the 5th round in this situation, after the longest drag out game I might have ever had into Ike the round before that just ended on a nail point, I wasn't super excited to see Acres. I was hoping for an easier matchup in the X and 1 bracket. Acres and I sit down at the table. It's a decent table, other than there's just an obstruction in the middle of the table, and we're playing high stakes. There's also a forest right next to it, so it creates this awkward landing spot for my Colossal. Acres wins and chooses to go first, puts me in an interesting situation for where I need to position. We go to scoring at the end of the 2nd turn for high stakes. After kind of just skirmishing with each other a little bit, and I was not able to get up super far and contest his stuff because I don't want to give him models away. So we went 2-2 at the end of turn 2 scoring. On his next turn, Acres does some really good stuff. I unfortunately failed to kill one of his rock carriers, so he was able to walk the other rock carrier in and place it next to my Forebodar, which he then killed. Which was my only real model over there. He feeded to kill another Forebodar, which is really hilarious that he feeded with Sabreth to kill one Forebodar. But he did end up clearing my flag terrain. So he ended up scoring 3 points on that turn to my 0 because he ran and jammed. So the score is now 5-2. On my turn, I was not able to clear the 50, and this is where things get convoluted because I screwed up. He had 2 tyrants in the middle of the table. I am tired. I'm not using this as an excuse. I'm just saying. I activated my Colossal. I killed the 2 models engaging it, cleared off towards the 50, then took a boosted gunshot at a tyrant on a hill. It was the flail tyrant. He had 1 flail, 1 shredder. I did 7 damage boosted to that tyrant. I was happy. I went with my Forebodar, got it in range, put it in range of a tyrant, and measured the 10 out, and I was perfectly fine. Went with my caster, feeded, started throwing Hellfires at the tyrant. I ended up doing 20, I think it was 26 damage to the tyrant, and Acres didn't pick the model up. And I was like, Acres, I don't want to pause, but like that model should be dead, right? I just did 26 and then 7 with the Colossal, and he's like, you shot the other tyrant with the Colossal. And he was right. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. And I was like, well, I'm fucking stupid. And Acres, trying to be as nice as he could, was like, is the Forebodar in range of the other one? If you meant to target the other one, we could just target the other one. I wouldn't have let him do it, for 1. And 2, it definitely wasn't in range of the other one. That was a horrifying, it could have been. It was just a horrifying misplay on my part. Just being tired and being bad. I was frustrated with myself. I finished the rest of my turnout correctly. I contested, only gave him 2 points on that turn, and I scored, only gave him 1 point on that turn for his flag terrain. I contested his 40. I scored my 40 and my flag, which, if you're keeping track, would put the score at 6-4. I was busy beating myself up. I did not pay attention to the score tracker. We were both tired. The score tracker somehow was marked 7-4, and Acres put his hand out to shake for the end of the game. I shook his hand and said, "Oh God, yeah, good game. Unfortunate." I started talking to people and thinking about how dumb I was for not killing the tyrant and putting myself in an awkward situation. Um, and after about 2 minutes, I started thinking about it and realized that that's not the correct score. And I started talking to Akers about it, and he realized, yeah, oh shit, we're wrong. We had already picked up models. There were already models moved, and things were gone, and there was no way to go back. Um, Akers was very polite about it, said we could call a judge and try to figure it out. And I said, you know what, bud, at the end of 5 rounds, it is what it is. You got the game. I screwed this up. We got lost in scoring. I need to keep track for myself, and it taught me a valuable lesson that I need to keep track of my own scoring. So, but unfortunately, that put me at 3-2 at the end of the day. So Eric and I are now in the same bracket with each other, and in my brain, the only thing I'm thinking as I'm driving to the only thing that was open in one of the not better parts of Milwaukee was a Wendy's, and the only thing I can think about on my way to this freaking Wendy's is, for the love of God, don't pair me into Eric. Please, God, do not pair me into Eric. This is going to be dumb. I don't want to play my fucking local, the guy I play with every day in this final round. Please, I might just drop and give him the win.
No, I wouldn't let you do that.
I
We'd
know
be
you
playing
wouldn't
that
have, but
game.
and my brain at the end of that round was like, I swear to God, I'm going to kill Travis. I will stab Travis. Also, I have to say this for all of you that don't know, and I'm going to find a goddamn picture, and I'm going to patch it in here, so I hope you're actually watching the video. Travis wandered around in a fucking Eeyore hat the entire day of the first round of the IGQ. Rob, you missed this, unfortunately. I hope you saw pictures, because it was fucking adorable. But yeah, it ended up not happening. We went into the next round. We came in the next day. All of the things were forgotten. My tough game with Ike, the weirdness that was the Akers game. It all resolved, and we got to play our next round. Who did you play in the final round, Eric?
So I got to play against an Infernal player.
Ooh,
That wasn't Ryan. His name is David Kwan. So he had a Zadaroth.
Agathon.
I believe it's Zadaroth Agathon pairing. Yeah. Again, whoever thinks of bringing any other Infernal Master, am I right? Anywho, oh no, he had Owen Deimos. Okay.
Okay.
So into the Infernals matchup, this is basically what my butcher list is designed for. Thanks to Ryan, my butcher list is all the spell hate, all the extended threat ranges, and make it to where I do not give the Agathon player a spell assassination on my caster, because spell ward, you can't do it. So the scenario is fault line, so very live scenario. He drops Agathon to my butcher. I won the roll to go first, so I positioned myself very aggressively. Turn one, his turn one, he positions his stuff into a slightly passive, but he put a couple stuff up aggressively. So my turn two, I feat with Butcher because he put a Tormentor within charge range of Aztrek, a summon Tormentor. And with the Homicidal Maniac move, it put me then into his Colossal. So under Butcher feat plus Red Line, I can do a good amount of damage into his Colossal. I'm thinking if I don't whiff a charge attack into his Tormentor. I whiff the charge attack into his Tormentor.
Okay.
So Tormentor still dies. I get 1 or 2 attacks into his Colossal. So Azrak, in my mind, he's written off. He's dead. He's dead to me now. Like, he's there in the middle of everything, put a couple things on fire. It is what it is. Moving over to the right side of the table where his 40s are. I ran my Assault Reaver unit, which I feeded on 2 of them for Butcher because I didn't commit Butcher that turn. Butcher got to sit pretty on a hill with a couple shield guards to contest his 40s and in a forest. So they're there with last word with feet. Cool. I have my rock carriers positioned a little bit behind them to where they couldn't really get shot at. And then I just had extra carriers on my own 40s with the Grand Champ ready to kill whoever came in. Go to his turn. He comes into me. Azrak dies. no contest there. Couldn't kill my Arc Node on my 50, so he couldn't score that. Going over to his 40s, he starts killing some of my Assault Reavers with spells
Mm-hmm.
that aren't Hellfire.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the last word. And I got the last word into the Griever Swarm because the Griever Swarm is the only real threat to my Rock Carriers. And I'm just hitting hard 7s. So out of like the 5 last word attacks I got, I hit 4 out of the 5, and I killed 4 of his Griever Swarm before they got to activate. So now the Rock Carriers are safe. And because of the stuff that happened there, he left me a nice little conga line for my following turn with Butcher. And Agathon is like in the Rebel with Forebodar and Eilish right next to him with a bunch of cultists all in line. And I'm like, okay, I don't need Butcher feet. These guys are like 12/12s, and Butcher just eats them. Cool. Clear off my side 40s. You end up clearing the upper side 40s, and I charge Butcher in conga line. He dark rituals or the whatever the ability is for him to cast a free spell on my turn when I kill a warrior model in his control range. So he teleports Agathon away.
Not control range, but yeah, 12 inches. But yeah, keep on.
Yeah. So I have Butcher with 3 focus and 9 blood quench, basically in his deployment zone.
Yep.
Scoring his 40, and I had my Rock Carrier scoring the other 40.
I feel like we've been here before. But yeah, go ahead.
Yep. So I have a ton of scenario pressure on David now, and now David has to essentially kill Butcher at arm 27, essentially, with 3 focus in order to get back in the game and to win it.
Mm-hmm.
So remember Ryan said a certain shadow ability earlier in one of his rounds that he got to use? So I never knew this about this ability. So he did this to a groundkeeper of mine, which was in charge range of Agathon. Agathon charges it, smacks it, dark banishes.
Well, he applies shadow to it first, but yes.
Yeah, he applied shadow to it first, which then triggered the move for shadow, and then he put Agathon within melee range of Butcher, and he starts just buying attacks into Butcher. And again, Agathon's not a melee beater. What can he do? Oh god, he has puncture, D3 damage every time he hits. And I'm like, wow, my armor means nothing. So he left me on 10 boxes after that. Dark banishes me to the other side of him to where now his Colossal and a unit of Howlers can charge in. I forgot to mention this. Before I sent Butcher in on his killing spree, I put set defense off of the Reaver Commander onto him. So he's at 15 against the charges. He charges the Howlers in first because he had to do that first because then the Colossal couldn't get in if he did the other way. All the Howlers missed all their charges. So Butcher does not get Gruus wounded, and he's still sitting at 10 with 3 focus. The Colossal comes in. He starts doing some damage. He was also able to apply Master Ruin from the Hermit onto me, so I'm technically armor 25 here, so dice off 4. He buys a couple attacks, and it comes down to literally his last attack. I think I had 6 boxes left at this point with 1 focus left, and I think we did the math. He had to roll like a 14 or 15 on the boosted damage roll in order to kill me. He only rolls a 12 and leaves Butcher on 2, and then at that point, I won on scenario.
Yep.
It was a very, very wonky game with me and David, but it was a very fun game for both of us. So, yeah, how did your round 6 go, Ryan?
I told you earlier in the episode that I was going to talk about it again because I ended up playing Trish again. And she, I guess she sat down on the table and we'd already played the matchup, and she said that I didn't want to play Shira's Strike anyway because I've played it the whole weekend. I'm dropping Valix. I don't care what you drop. And I told her, well, I'm going to continue playing Agathon because I don't think Zadaroth is the correct drop. Well, it turns out that Zadaroth is the correct drop into Valix, just for the record. So we're all clear for her specific Valix list. I'm very familiar with what Valix does. I was not familiar with a Valix gun line. And Trish had crafted something very entertaining where her whole purpose in life was to set everything on fire and put her Wyvern up there so that none of the fire can go out. Well, you know what Arm 12 solos don't like, Eric?
Fire.
Fire that can't go out. She proceeded to set the majority of my solos on fire, Animus, and run her Wyvern up to where she just handed it to me for my Colossal to charge. but she killed the majority of my solos. I was so confused. Well, after that, losing a bunch of my solos, I was like, all right, I guess I'm just going to keep trying to play this out. I got to charge her Wyvern. I got to Elaine was still alive, so I got to curse it with Elaine. I charged the Wyvern, killed the Wyvern very easily, and now she's got 2 Hydrixes, and I'm like, I don't really think she can kill my Colossal anymore. Like, maybe if both of the Hydrixes go into it. So what did I do? I killed the other Hydrix with a Desolator. She's now got Valix and 1 Hydrix. I'm like, all right, I have 2 heavies. I have a Colossal, my caster, some Howlers, some Sentinel, or some Dark Sentinels, and some Grievers. Like, I feel really, really comfortable and confident in this situation. I think I'm okay. Yeah, I forgot. Valix Feats and Armor Piercing on the Hydrix will definitely still kill my Colossal. She explained this, and I started doing the math, and I'm like, well, there goes my Colossal. That sucks. So I had feeded to put down a Tormentor up there. Trish made a little bit of a mistake in this moment where she charged in to do some damage to the Tormentor. When she hit the Tormentor, she did choose not to drag, but I do have Hyper Aggressive. So you can imagine what happens, Eric. I walked in the way of
me confused. Yeah.
I walked into the way of where the only landing spot for the Hydrix to go to kill my Colossal. So rather than killing my Colossal, the Hydrix gets to go into the Tormentor. It eats the Tormentor very well, but unfortunately now, with where she has repoed Valix to, I can't get my Colossal to Valix without killing the Hydrix first. The scenario is decently tight at this point, and I don't have a lot of models to deal with Valix if she gets to kill the Colossal now, and I kind of want this game to end because Valix there's not a lot of places left for me to hide my caster where I feel comfortable anymore. So he's sitting in a trench. He's on 1, but it doesn't matter how. Or, I'm sorry, he's on 3. Or is it 2? I don't remember. He's on 2, I think. It doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter because I activated the Colossal and killed the only transfer target that she had. Then I feat. I run the Forebodar into the trench to not give her the cover bonus. I feat and proceed to roll some of the worst dice that I've ever rolled. I leave. Again, we're sticking with the trend here. I leave Valix on how many boxes, Eric?
1.
1! Again, for the 4th time this weekend, I leave someone's caster on 1 box. Or heavy, I should say, and again, or a caster on 1 box.
Just say model. Just say model at this point.
So once this happens, I'm now on 2 on my caster. I have nothing else to do with it, and I'm like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to run that direction as far away from you as humanly possible, which is what I do. She decided at that point that she could not come back on scenario anymore, and that she wasn't going to bother making attacks or anything. We had a long weekend, and that the game was over. It was very instructive for both of us. We both learned some very good things about each other's factions, and I could not have asked for a better opponent to end the weekend on. Trish, if you so happen to listen to this, thank you so much for the wonderful experience. I had nothing but fun, and it was very educational for me. Oh, all right. Now we have to flash back. Oh, I'm sorry. I will talk about who won real quick, Eric, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, all good.
So I get the big honor to shout out one of my teammates for WTC, Andy Bev, who won the event playing Bryans. Brad Park, the member of Team 1, took second, and Akers, the gentleman that beat myself and Eric, took third. Very well done from those guys. They all played very well. They all played very tight. I'm super excited for them. Congrats, Andy. Now we got to flash back a little bit because we're gonna go back to the keynote speech, which was on Thursday night. Sorry, not Friday. Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yep.
Which is why we did dinner early and then why we were at the convention hall so late that I couldn't remember. So the keynote was, I know that most of you guys have watched it, and I don't want to talk about it much because we've gone this we've run this video kind of long. The couple things I do want to talk about is any of you that did not watch that video, I do think it's worth your time to go take a look at it. I'll probably link it in the under menu below so that you guys can go see it. It's definitely worth the watch. They talk about a lot of cool, good things for the game. It's very nice where SFG is taking the game. And they're very interactive with their audience. They talk to you. They let you ask questions. It's fun and joking. I really wish that they would improve their sound system because none of us in the audio could hear anything. Or we could, but it was all
Yeah, a little bit.
So We did give that feedback to them, and the YouTube video that they put out came out very clear and very nice. It is unfortunate that they muted the crowd noise for it because there were some funny interjections and some laughter and things. The highlight to me, Eric, of the actual things was there's two things that I liked a lot. They came out with the Menoth announcement that they talked about at the last lock and load. They expanded on that and showed us some models, and there was a really cool highlight and an upside to it, and we were all excited. And then there was two really low parts. The highlight was they showed us the concept art for the new caster, and there was a lot of oohs and ahs, and we were all excited, and he looked so cool in the concept art. And then we saw the actual painted model, and the room like collectively went, oh, that's oh. Um, then like the next slide over was the Crusader chassis, which again, I love Crusaders of the old Menoth, but the new one was like half painted, and it was on somebody's paint desk, and like I don't know why you would add that model. I mean, I'm not making fun of it. I love to see these models, but I don't know that I would have added one that was half painted if it was me.
I
Go ahead.
I think just concept art for the Crusader would have been better.
Yes, I agree with that.
And then they could have said, "Oh yeah, we have it already like sculpted, and we already have test prints out."
Yep, we'll get you one out soon.
To just, yep, exactly.
What about you, Eric? What was your favorite thing?
I did like the announcements of the new 80s for the other Mark IV armies.
Oh yeah,
They're going to be all very excited to get those because I was always excited to get mine. I'm a little bit sad that we got nothing for Reaper Covenant.
Yeah. And they got pushed further on the roadmap.
I think they got pushed back. Thanks, Menoth. I was a little bit sad about that because I'm looking forward to my second Orgoth army. But no, the keynote, I love the way that they presented it. Again, the SFG crew always puts on a good show. I enjoyed it. I just enjoy the entertainment that they give us. I did like the Galactic Armory. Came up and showed off the Menoth helmet that they did and like the cosplay.
Andy Muscle Man poses.
Yep. Oh yeah. Andy at some point, Erica and Andy at some point went up to the stage and asked either Rich or Matt, like, "Hey, can we take a couple photos with that helmet?" Because Andy, for the longest time, has been waiting for Menoth, like Mark IV Menoth. So he was super stoked and excited when the actual the stuff came out during the keynote for it. That's all I got for the keynote. Again, more exciting stuff.
The only other thing I wanted to ask you about, Eric, because I have mixed feelings about it. What do you think about the new concept for the boxes being sold, as like a 50 point and then 100 point army, effectively, it contained in one box with like set arms for the warjacks or beasts?
So you have to separate this out for new players and players that are already in War Machine and they want to buy into the army. For new players, it's great. They get everything they want. There's no confusion on your arm options for the stuff. They can just glue it within like 30 minutes and then be basically playing the tabletop in the store. Hindsight, for me, a more veteran player, and that looking at it, I much rather get like the full range options for like the cohort models. That way I only need to buy 4 of the heavies or buy 4 of the lights, and I have it all magnetized and it's all set, ready to go. But again, though, too, War Machine is a fast-growing game right now. They mentioned it in the keynote. They showed the stats on Longshanks for how many more events we ran just in the beginning of this year.
Yep,
and they have to prep themselves for those newer player experiences. And for new players, I think it's good, and it gets them up to the 100-point like level for play faster.
Absolutely. I do agree with that. I'm just concerned specifically about the arm options only being one set and not even including the extra ones in the box and making it a separate purchase that you have to make, I think, from the website. Like, I don't think that's something you're going to be able to get in a store, which is just problematic for when you want to start playing competitive, which is where I would try to push most players. I know that they're leaning into the more casual version of the game. thematic
Mhm.
versions of the game, I should say, less, not casual, thematic. And those are fun, cool things. I really do enjoy the thematic version of the games. I like the lore. But I am trying to be a competitive player, as I know you are, Eric, and most of the people I know that play this game are leaning more into the competitive sphere than just thematic and play games on a Tuesday night. So
Yeah,
it's a cool concept, and I really like it for getting people into the game. I just don't like the limiting factor of it. The
agreed.
the other thing, obviously, that everybody's hot on their minds right now is we saw a lot of concept art and even some models for Fane of Nero. Super excited for that faction to come out. Very hopeful that it comes out balanced and even, and that if we do get it before the WTC, that there's enough time for somebody to learn it.
Yeah, the stack's cool. I like it. It's not my cup of tea. Again, I showed my wife it, like some of the pictures of it, and she's like, "Oh, that's cool. That's something up my jam." I'm like, "Okay, but are you gonna actually paint and assemble the stuff now?" And she said no. I'm like, "Okay, so this is never happening." Moving on.
um, the SFG does what they have done at every keynote that I've been around or been near, and they opened it up for questions at the end. It was a little disorganized, obviously. At least they tried to go from one side of the room to the other side of the room. There was a lot of really good questions asked along the lines of like the models that they showed being released, the 80s that we didn't talk about that they released. I'm just going to throw them in here real quick so the names so that you guys can get it. I know you'll see them in the pictures, but Shadow Seraph for Shadow Flame Shard. We had Imperatus for Dusk or House Kalis, however you want to look at it, and then we had what's the Gravediggers one called, Eric? Bandit.
Bandit.
That's what it was. Bandit.
Mm,
Um,
Bandit.
which Bandit, to be honest with you, looked like a bigger deuce, which is terrifying. Um, so, but when we started asking questions, there was a lot of good questions asked along the lines of things like Scuttlebutt, which is the next 80s that's getting released. Apparently, it got teased a while back. The other stuff's about balancing changes and what was going on with the new releases that they're doing, the release order. I know, Eric, did you throw a question out there? I don't remember.
Uh, I'm trying to remember my question. Oh, revisiting some of the older themes from other armies, like for example, Thamrites, or
Oh, Morrowind.
the
That's right. Yeah,
Morrowinds.
you brought the
Yep.
Morrowind ones up. Yep, that makes sense.
And they basically said never say never, and we are maybe slash possibly looking into it.
Yep. Very non-committal, but definitely left it open-ended. I
Yes.
tried to ask a little bit more serious of a question than most people were throwing out there, because it's something that I hold near and dear, and it's something that I think it really influences the game. My question to them was, do you think that the January lethality nerf has had the effect that you wanted it to? Um, and for the most part, they all agreed and said yes, but I think that Jamie's answer resonated the most. And he said that it has been a good start, which gives me a lot of hope because I think that the current state of the meta for what they were trying to accomplish with the way they laid it out from the previous LNL has not achieved what they were looking for, which is more of a brawling, brawl machine game where we can meet in the middle of the table and stuff fight each other and not just immediately die on the charge. That is not been my experience after the change. Very few times do things go into each other, and the vast majority of the models do not just die. Have you had a different experience, Eric?
Uh, I think there's been some percentage of model survivability in the middle of the table. However, though, the pals are still high. If you're hitting, you're still killing at the same rate.
Yep.
So it again, stuff that's already pretty high accuracy and stuff like that, they really didn't see a nerf. Like
Yeah.
again, a lot of the elite infantry, except for some models in Orgoth,
Shut
stayed
up.
at their Mat and Rat sevens. Both my Axers and my Nashers lost Mat
You
7.
have 2 attacks, my friend, on each of those models. That's got to be the reason why.
No, 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 no. Moving on.
um, yeah. Everybody was asking pretty decent valid questions. There's a lot of repeats and a lot of just silly questions that they've answered before in the past. Talking about some of the older factions and if they're going to get revisited because we definitely did have some ones we weren't expecting. Like pigs, obviously, were something that people weren't expecting. The revisit to like COC was something that some people weren't expecting. And Yeah, I think that they were a little more concise with the questions this time around. I still just like I said in our last keynotes video or keynote esque video, that before the end of the actual questions being asked, there was enough silly questions and enough people uh, making silly comments, actually making comments, not asking questions, that I decided I was going to call it a night early. Was there anything else from the keynote that you wanted to reference, Eric?
Uh, just that they showed, again, I think I already mentioned it earlier, but they showed the actual metric for game stores that are actually being stockists in their program to bring in War Machine in that.
Hmm.
And they're on average they're getting like 2 to 3 a week to sign up game store wise for this year alone.
It's
And I
wonderful.
think they already expanded out to like 100 plus stores with it growing. So the game's definitely on the up and up, which I'm happy to see.
That's wonderful. All right. So what we're going to close out with here, Eric, is we usually like to do these a little sooner. We had some scheduling conflicts, guys. I'm sorry. We're going to try to get these videos out quicker after the events, video, podcast, whatever you want to call it. This one came out a little late, so unfortunately, we had our next major event. Those videos are going to be coming to you soon as well. I already attended Beach Brawl, which was out in San Diego, and Robin Thomas attended the Dayton IGQ. And we will give you some details about those. As far as the next upcoming events, I believe the next one, Eric, is Eau Claire for us, which is the Snowpocalypse rescheduled IGQ from Eau Claire.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yep.
you didn't notice the sarcasm in my voice, the quote unquote
Ryan was super
Snowpocalypse.
gun ho and going during
We
a
were supposed to
advisory
get
like
30 inches of snow over 24 hours, and we got 3. We live in the north, for God's sakes. Learn to drive in snow, you animals. Anyway, moving on. That got rescheduled for this
Mm-hmm.
next weekend. So we are, Eric and I are heading up together for that. I think that we're going to have some other locals coming with us, and hopefully we can do well. After that,
Yep.
I know for the rest of us, I think it's Boker Brawl, where I hope to see every one of you people that listens to this thing, this thing that we're doing here, whatever this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
It is I don't know if you guys saw, but Boker sold out like minutes, and I'm exaggerating, but within an hour of it being released, it had sold out. Same thing with Siege this year. So if you guys are wanting to go to these events and you hear that they're going to release the tickets, you need to be paying attention and you need to be buying them the minute they come out, or you're possibly not going to get anything. So anything
Yeah.
else you wanted to cover, Eric?
No, just super excited for the IGQ, for the Eau Claire, and then for Boker Brawl. It'll be my first Boker Brawl, so I'm super excited.
It
Yeah, I
is
heard
awesome.
it's. Yep, I've only heard great things, so I'm super excited for that.
All right, guys. Well, we've been Iron Clan Insights. Everybody have a wonderful evening. We're signing off.